Word Nerds, and happy Thursday. Today, I really wanted to make this video. As you know, it is currently February, which is Black History Month, and I really wanted to make a video about Black History Month on the WordNerd channel for a little bit, and today I'm finally doing that. So today, me and some of the other word nerds are coming to talk to you about why it's important that we read books by Black authors. One of the main reasons I think it's important to read stories by Black authors is, one, it means that stories are going to be continuously produced by Black authors, and two, it's really important that we read outside of our cultural wheelhouse. So for the first point, the more we read by Black authors and support Black works, the more that they're going to be produced. And that is especially important to me because that means increased representation. I can't tell you how much it meant to me when I was younger to see Black characters on TV and shows, or read about Black characters in books. And reading about Black characters that are fun and doing cool things, not just Black characters whose racial identity is the only thing that they have going for them as a character. So you should be going out of your way to read books with Black characters written by Black authors.
One of the many reasons I think it's important to read outside the scope of your own experience is so that we don't fall into the pattern of looking at our way of life or our culture as what's normal. We don't want to have this narrow, one-size-fits-all outlook on life. Also, by reading widely, we are telling publishers we want more every time you pick up a book from a bookstore or check it out from the library.
I'm sure everyone has had a lot of really great thoughts on why it's important to read diversely and why you should be supporting Black authors. And I don't necessarily want to sound repetitive, so I kind of wanted to speak to those of you who might be watching this and feel like, oh, this doesn't apply to me because I support diverse authors, but I don't pick the books I read based on who wrote them. I pick them based on the description or the content that's in the book. I just think it's really important to remember that you aren't personally hand-picking the books that you're reading out of just a vat of 100,000 novels. Businesses are putting these books in front of you. Businesses are choosing which books to shelve. They're choosing which ads get targeted. They're choosing what order stories show up when you Google them. You should be going out of your way to read books that support diverse authors. You should be supporting them with your time and with your money and with your voice. You should be talking about these books that you're reading and enjoying because this is important.
Recently, I've been thinking about my high school English classes and how in 4 years, I can only think of one book by a Black author that we read. I don't remember studying a single Black author in American Lit, which is absurd when you think about it. And I just think that the more that we read and talk about and recognize Black literature, the more we normalize it and the more we recognize it as literature worth reading and talking about and studying. And I think about my Black classmates in high school and how they had to sit there year after year reading books only by white authors, and how if they could do that, then I can make a concerted effort now as an adult to read as many books by Black authors as I can.
One thing that's really important to me personally is supporting books of any kind by Black authors, but in particular, I'm trying to pay more attention to also supporting books about Black joy. There's a tendency in white publishing to really focus on books about Black pain. And while a lot of these books are really good and really important and definitely worth supporting, I think we really do a disservice to the Black community when we're not giving equal support to books that celebrate Black experiences, that celebrate Black joy. No community deserves to be painted only in their most painful moments. And to me, there's something really sort of exploitative about white publishing only embracing the types of stories that make white readers feel woke. So while there are a lot of these really good books, and I'll certainly continue to support those type of books, I also really want to embrace books about Black joy. I want to see all of the rom-coms with Black characters and really lush, beautiful fantasies and the fun, exciting sci-fi. There are so many different types of books that are out there to be written and to be supported. And we, again, really just do a disservice to the Black community if we're only supporting books about Black pain. So for me, that's something I'm continuing to work on, is just making sure that books about Black joy are equally supported.
Now that we've all given our reasons for why it's so important to read stories by Black authors, here are some recommendations from us to get you started. I'm going to recommend 2 different books. The first is Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Now, if you've taken an English class in high school or college, chances are you might have read this one. The reason I suggested this one is because it's personally very close and near and dear to my heart. Specifically, there's a scene where the character realizes for the first time that they're Black and what that means. And the first time I read that scene, it rocked my world. I think that almost every Black person can pinpoint the moment in their life where they realized that they were Black. Not that the fact that their color of their skin was different, but the fact that they were treated differently because of it. And the fact that this book highlights that is phenomenal. I know it's a bit of an older book, but it's still good. I've read it multiple times and I highly, highly suggest it. The second book I want to recommend is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. Again, I recommended this book because I have a very personal connection to Maya Angelou and this work. This book really highlights what it was like for her life and living the Black experience, especially before modern times. And you might think that now that we're in 2021, things have changed, but I assure you, not in the ways that they need to. So I definitely suggest those 2 books for you to check out. They're both phenomenal and I hope you enjoy them.
I'm going to recommend Pride by Ibi Zoboi, which is a contemporary young adult retelling of Pride and Prejudice.
One of my favorite recent reads has been The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. This is a Wi-Fi alien invasion book. It is so interesting just from page 1. I was so hooked. She has fantastic pacing throughout the book where it's sort of one of those scenarios where the characters are just kind of in this constant underlying danger and you have to keep reading to keep knowing what's going on. The characters are very, very interesting. It's dual point of view, and I found both of the characters really interesting to follow, and I really love the way the themes of art tie into the story. In the middle of this alien invasion, the characters are really focused on the art that they love and how that kind of keeps them going and gives them motivation, which I thought was really, really cool.
The book I wanted to recommend is Ray Bear by Jordan Ifueko. I just finished this book. It was my favorite read of the year thus far, and it's so good. It's a fantasy. It's great. I don't want to give you too much information because I really loved going in not knowing what to expect. So yeah, just definitely check it out.
You all know I am always looking to hype up my fellow Pitch Wars people, which is why I am suggesting Hollywood Homicide by Kelly Garrett. It is about a semi-famous, mega-broke Black actress who takes on the deadliest role of her life as a private detective. The series has won awards and received multiple starred reviews. Library Journal calls it smart and sassy with an appealing protagonist. So if you're a fan of Hollywood drama, suspense, and murder mysteries, be sure to check it out.